Everyone joining us in person and via live stream, thank you for being here. I'm not sure who's leading us in the pledge.
Is your mic working?
I don't think it's
I don't think
working.
anybody knows we're started. You need to hit that thing harder. Is my mic working? Can you
So,
hear me?
I don't know, I don't think. Oh,
Yeah,
there, I think
closer.
I just needed to go closer.
Yeah, you got to get closer. You can pull this closer.
Okay. Okay. So, should I do it again? Or should I just say Tanya? Okay. So, I hereby call this meeting to order. I'd like to thank tonight's presenters and everyone joining us in person and via live stream. Thank you for being here. Tanya will lead us in the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have 3 board members here, and Heather is joining us via phone. There are a few addendum materials on the following topics: Head Start grant application, Highland High School update, Highland High School Rebuild and Design Committee, and the legislative update. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the addendum.
I entertain a motion to approve the agenda with addendum.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? This motion passed. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve the following minutes as presented: board work session, executive session, regular board meeting, executive session student discipline, and executive session student discipline. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes as stated.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? This motion passed. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes authorizing the payment of claims, approving the supplemental financial information, and approving the human resource activity as presented. Is there a motion?
A motion that we approve the consent agenda as stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Next on the agenda are the self-explanatory reports, which includes Idaho General Fund Revenue Report, Food Service Free and Reduced Lunch Report, Student Enrollment Report, and Student Suspension Report. Next on the agenda is awards and recognitions, which will be presented by Courtney Fisher.
Okay, good evening. This is a little bit weird tonight. Okay, good evening, Madam Chair, trustees, Dr. Howell and Ms. Johnson, and student representatives who are joining us here tonight. Tonight we will be recognizing several individuals who support and embody our district's mission to think more, learn more, and be more together. First up, we have our March Cake Awards. Our district believes a safe, supportive, caring, and respectful environment is critical to student learning. The School District 25 Education Foundation, in partnership with our local Johnson Family McDonald's, supports the Learner of the Month Award each month to recognize one elementary learner and one secondary learner from our district from October through May. The Cake Award celebrates positive character, attitude, kindness, and encouragement toward others, and nominations for the Cake Award are submitted by a teacher who has observed the nominee's behavior and are approved by the school's principal. Each month, the Cake Award recipients receive recognition here at the monthly board meetings, and a gift card for both themselves and their teacher, and also a $50 donation to their media center to purchase books in the recipient's name. And that is also courtesy of Johnson Family McDonald's. So first up is Miss Roz here tonight. So we have Miss Roz, who is a pre-K learner at Lincoln. Will you join me at the podium with your teacher, Mrs. Proctor? Will you join her? Hi, Roz. I'm going to have you stand right. Can we stand right out here so people can see you? Awesome. Thank you so much. So Miss Roz is a pre-K learner joining us from Lincoln, and Mrs. Proctor nominated her. And in her nomination letter, Mrs. Proctor wrote, "I would like to nominate Roz for the Cake Award for the joy, positivity, and kindness she shows her teachers and her classmates. Roz is always excited to come to school and eager to interact with her classmates. She greets us all by name and knows when someone is absent. She asks if they will be coming and if they are okay. She is a helper to peers who may be more in need of support and loves to cheer them on when they are successful with difficult tasks." Excuse me. Roz is a great student and an example to me of someone with great character, attitude, unending kindness, and encouragement. Way to go, Roz. That's so awesome. So I'm going to give you a certificate, and then we have some treats waiting for you outside, okay? So right now, thank you so much. I always like to congratulate our Cake Award winners. And you too, Mrs. Proctor.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Miss Roz. Thank you for bringing such energy and light to our board meeting tonight. That's awesome. Okay, next up, our March Secondary School Learner of the Month. Mr. Mason Dalton, would you join me at the podium? Along with, Mason received 3 nominations, and I think based on what I've read, he could have received a whole lot more. Mrs. Jessica Woodland, Mrs. Cindy Youngstrom, and Mr. Scott Eldridge. If you're here this evening, please join us up here. Okay, as Mrs. Brockett mentioned when she saw Mason walk in, she said, "Mason is one of a kind." So Miss Brockett's going to join us up here too. I'm excited to introduce this gentleman to you here tonight. In her nomination letter, Mrs. Youngstrom wrote, "I would like to nominate Mason Dalton for the Cake Award because of his ongoing positive attitude under extremely difficult conditions. On the heels of his mother's unexpected passing, Mason's father began having life-threatening medical issues. During the last 2 years, Mason's positive attitude and cheery disposition have been inspiring for me to witness. With every hardship, Mason responds with positivity, jumping in to help solve or at least lighten the family's burdens. Another valiant virtue Mason demonstrates is his love and loyalty to his family. Because of his dire circumstances, Mason's siblings went to live with extended family out of state. However, Mason chose to remain with his dad so he could support and help him. Mason also cites that he has found comfort in his high school community and didn't want to leave Century. I smile every time I hear Mason lovingly referred to his father as the big guy, and he is dedicated to serving him every chance he gets. Mason's attendance and grades may not always be at the top of his game because of his home life burdens that he bears, but he never gives up, and he always comes back to being a student in good standing. I could give example after example of why Mason deserves this recognition, but instead I will leave you with a list of the virtues this man lives every single day: kindness, love, loyalty, optimism, patience, perseverance, resilience, sacrifice, service, strength, wisdom. I am honored to watch this young man navigate life's relentless beatdown and always come out with a smile on his face. That's just one, that's not all. In her nomination letter, Mrs. Woodland wrote, "When I think of Mason, I think of a happy person. Every time I see him, he has a big smile on his face. No matter what's happening in his life, he's always happy and pleasant. He is such a joy to be around." And Mr. Eldridge wrote, "In my many years as an educator, I have had the pleasure of being around some incredible students. Mason stands out among those incredible students with his infectious, positive attitude. Every day he is in class, he has positively impacted his peers and myself. He faces challenges, each challenge life throws at him with optimism, and as a teacher, it's my goal to offer hope and inspiration to my students. However, it's a special occurrence when a student like Mason becomes the source of hope and inspiration. Mason's ability to spread positivity and joy make him extremely deserving of this award, and I would agree, and I absolutely love this part because I get to meet students like you. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful example. I know Mason's family, Mason's dad and friends are here with us tonight too, so maybe you'll give our board a wave, but Mason, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so
everything
much.
you do for
Of course.
and being in our school community. And if you'll say hello to our board, thank you for the nomination. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Sorry about your mom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Did you bring your chair up?
Thank you so much. What a touching story. Okay, next up, we have our March 2024 Pies Award. The Employee of the Month Pies Award recognizes our employees who positively influence educational success. This award is for employees who go above and beyond in that effort and are nominated by their peers. So tonight, joining me for our Pies Award is Mrs. Darcy Hale, if you'll join me. And Darcy was nominated by Mr. Michael Hellman, Mrs. Danny Summerall, and Mrs. Stephanie Iverson. If you will all join me up at the podium as well. And just for the record, Mrs. Hale is the assistant principal at Franklin Middle School, and she was nominated by several teachers in her building who have observed how much she influences our school and district community. In his nomination, Mr. Hellman wrote, "Darcy has worked hard to build a community of professional respect for both the learners and faculty. There's been a shift in the building that I believe all of the faculty and students feel, and she has helped to establish and cultivate a new culture in the building around the 4 Franklin foundations: respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. Additionally, she has taken measures to improve the physical building here at Franklin, renovated staff room, weight room, and general messages around the building. She started Wagon Wednesday, now known as the Wagon of Joy. There have been initiatives such as pineappling, a program where we are able to leave the classroom and observe our co-teachers for a period, and you can get continuing education credit. As a person, she demonstrates genuine interest in our well-being as humans inside and outside of the classroom. These things, when combined, show the deliberate time and energy spent to transform our physical and mental workspace of Franklin Middle School. She is an amazing person to work with, and I am proud to be a faculty member at my school." Here are just a few notable details from Mr. Summerall's. I could not include everything that she said, but I tried to get the gist of it. Since the first day she took office, Darcy has done much to enrich our Franklin family. She seems to live by the see a need, feel a need. She incorporated a small take one, leave one library in the staff room so we could share our favorite books, and a recipe binder so we could add our favorite recipes to share. She remodeled an antiquated weight room into something that is more safe and up to date, making the space an incredible addition to our PE and athletic programs. She started a staff book club, which has been a great way to build relationships among coworkers and grow intellectually. She procured the funds to sponsor a yoga night for staff members at a local fitness studio, which has had a tremendous effect on my own mental and physical health. She employs a very creative and empathetic hand when dealing with students. By first starting with conversation, I've been impressed with how she can get students to open up and share why they are acting out. It might not change their behavior, but I've never seen her give up on a kid, and I think her empathetic approach allows her to build some very good relationships with our most at-risk students. She has brought her own brand of light and love into the building, and I think we are all better for it. Mrs. Iverson wrote, "One of Darcy's most notable qualities is her ability to foster a positive and inclusive school environment. She ensures that all learners feel valued and respected. Her efforts in connecting with the interests of our learners and creating safe spaces for all learners to express themselves has significantly contributed to the harmonious atmosphere within our school. Moreover, her leadership skills are exemplary. She effectively collaborates with teachers, staff, and parents to develop and implement initiatives that enhance the overall educational experience for our learners. She is undeniably an exceptional educator and leader who has made invaluable contributions to Franklin Middle School and our entire school district. Thank you so much for all of your contributions to our school district. we have this for you. And we have a $50 gift card courtesy of Lookout Credit Union, who's our partner in this award. And you guys get to split this and find among also courtesy. But thank you so much for everything you do. And please join me in congratulating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we are going to recognize, we had 7 Pocatello School District seniors named as semifinalists for the 2024 National Merit Scholarship Program. So I wanted to invite them here tonight to be recognized. I'm not sure how many could join us, but if you are here as a merit scholar, will you join us? And Josh, you may be the only one. Okay, okay, please come join us. So we have Josh and we have Evie. Okay. So with congratulations on this exceptional honor, the Pocatello Chubbuck School District 25 is pleased to announce that 7 local seniors earned recognition as 2024 National Merit Scholarship Program semifinalists. So we have both from Century High School, Josh Agris and Evelyn Evie Britton. So congratulations on this astounding, and I'm just going to give you a little bit background. These local seniors joined more than 16,000 semifinalists named in the 69th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. These academically talented high school seniors have an opportunity to continue in the competition for some 7,140 national merit scholarships worth nearly $28 million that will be offered next spring. To be considered for a Merit Scholarship Award, semifinalists must fulfill several requirements to advance to the finalist level of the competition. About 95% of the semifinalists are expected to attain finalist standing, and approximately half of the finalists will win a National Merit Scholarship, earning the Merit Scholar title. So we wish you so much luck on that, and congratulations for representing our district with your academic. And if you'll step out.
Congratulations.
I don't know about you, but I was very impressed that we had 7 within our district named as semifinalists. And that concludes awards and recognitions. Thank you.
Right. Next on the agenda is public, well, wait a second, for pictures.
Cool.
We can't forget the pictures. Next on the agenda is public or written comment. We have one individual that signed up for public comment, and we have a written comment included in the documents. It is Paul Entricken. Oh.
Where do you want me to go? Either one. I'll sit if you don't mind.
That's perfect.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes, my name is Paul Entricken. The students call me Mr. Paul. I've been a substitute teacher for 9 years now, and 2 years ago I was honored by your board to be your Pi winner, actually, and I appreciate that honor very much. It sits by my bed, just so you know. It's right beside where I can see it every day. I didn't really plan on coming here tonight, but, you know, I had an experience today. I substitute teach every day. Every grade, every subject, every school, right? And no offense, I know more about what's going on than you do. Okay, I assure you, okay? But anyway, what I want to just say briefly here, it's not a hill to die on, not a huge thing, but I was just a little concerned about the source the teachers draw on for public news, for current events, that kind of thing. It's really easy to use, and it's packaged nicely. But CNN 10, while it's packaged beautifully, and it's easy to use, and it's right there, you know, in Google and everything, I won't say, let's just say it's incomplete, right? I'm not going to say biased. I'm just going to say it's sometimes incomplete and doesn't give the full context of what they're talking about. And the things they choose to talk about are sometimes not what I would pick as the top 10 things of the day, personally, okay? So, I don't know, this is just nothing that, like I say, it's not a hill to die on for me or anything like that, but it's just something to consider, I think. It's good that the teachers are talking about current events, and that's wonderful. And it's very appropriate to talk about things like the State of the Union address and the response to it. That's super. But depending on the bias of the person who's leading the discussion and CNN 10, sometimes the message is not as balanced as I would be comfortable with personally, okay? And that's all I'm saying here. It's just me personally. And I guess that's the only message I want to share with you. I don't know where you go with that. That's for you folks to decide or not, okay?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that.
I will say that most of the conservative sites that I look to every day are blocked. You can't get them on the school computers, all right? You can't get to Gateway Pundit. You can't get to Breitbart. You can't get to a lot of things that I would think would be a balanced picture of what's going on. So I leave that with you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate
Appreciate it.
that.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is reports. We'll do student representative reports. We'll begin with Century. Century?
Okay, my name is Suri. I'm one of the Century student representatives.
And I'm Austin Turner.
Starting with academics, we had 4 students place out of 700 in the top 10 for HOSA. Nutrition came in first, and community awareness in third, which were both represented by freshmen, which was really cool. Job-seeking skills came in fifth, and medical assisting came in sixth. We had 2 students be semifinalists for the Merit Scholarship, and then Mason Dalton from Century High School won the Cake Award. We have 98 students signing with ISU, and 19 of which are getting presidential scholarships. And then athletically speaking, 6 of our wrestlers placed at the state championship.
Wow.
As for debate, we actually placed third overall in state, right? Okay. Dance was our academic champions for the year. And cheer brought home a national title. For activities for the school, 20 students went to Reality Town recently. Our juniors attended the Higher Ed Day, 3-on-3 basketball tournament for raising money for the animal shelter has been going on all of March so far. Our student council member, Olive Ashcraft, took her fentanyl campaign up to the Capitol, presented to Governor Brad Little. And that's all we have for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is great. Highland?
Okay, my name's JC White, and I'm just a senior class officer. So to start, Highland Cheer won 5A state champion, and then they also got 5A academic champions as well. And then Highland Debate took second in state, which they placed second 4 years in a row. Kai Nandroff and Michael Blay took first in state policy debate. And then Sawyer Anderson won in state wrestling championship for the 106 weight class. And then Colton George took second in state in the 195 weight class. And then we have 35 band students and 5 alternatives qualify for state at the Region Solo and Ensemble Festival. And then several Highland students are involved in the Pocatello Art Show. The award ceremony is Friday at 6 p.m. at the Pocatello Art Center in Old Town. And then the Highland Key Club worked with Red Cross to hold a blood drive today at Highland. And then the Highland Junior Higher Education Day was a success with 15 different sessions for juniors to attend. Colleges from all around the area and FAFSA, Department of Labor, and Armed Forces were all present, helping juniors develop a new vision for their future. Now we are in full swing to raise money for our Make-A-Wish recipient, Whitney. She's a 12-year-old girl with cystic fibrosis. We have a fundraiser coming up called Police vs. Firefighters. It's a basketball game tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Pocatello High School in the pit, and it costs $7. And our goal is to raise like over $8,000 for Whitney. So,
That's
thank you.
great. Thank
Wow,
you.
Thank you.
Pocatello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Carson Jex, the Student Body Vice President at Pokey.
And I'm Marin Brock, the Student Body President at Pokey.
So, first up, our debate team is back-to-back state champions, and our boys basketball team is state champions. And then Caden Bunderson took 5th place at state wrestling. Our girls basketball team took 3rd place at state.
And then our Pokey Stugo, we're hosting the basketball game tomorrow, and it's our fundraiser for our Make-A-Wish kid, Jackson. So it's the Pocatello Police Department against the Pocatello Fire Department. And so we are putting that on, and all the proceeds will go to our Make-A-Wish kid. And then Pokey Stugo, we are also planning our annual day of service that we do in April. And so if you guys have any service opportunities in our community, you can contact our advisor, Kelly Mon.
And then we at Pokey on Thursday this week, we're hosting a FAFSA night for all our students that haven't completed their FAFSA to get that done. And then in addition, the 2024 annual PAC and ISU high school art exhibition, we had the following students place in category 1, painting. We had a 4th place finish by Anissa Bills. In category 2, black and white drawing, we had a 1st place finish by Hiram Crother and a 2nd place finish by Kennedy Bailey. And then category 4, in digital art, we had a 2nd place finish by Abby Garrettson and a 3rd place finish by Charlie Canales. In category 5, mixed media, we had a 1st place finish by Timberly Shepard. In category 6, in sculpture, we had a 1st place finish by Mia Lusk and a 2nd place finish by Caleb Hack and a 3rd place finish by Timberly Shepard. And in category 7, pottery, we had a 1st place finish by Emily Barnett and a 2nd place finish by Christine Kent. And Allison Fulmer was best in show with her piece Escape.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Courtney will provide the Community and Communications report.
Thank you. Hello again. Most of my communications and community relations report is self-explanatory tonight, but I will just draw your attention to a couple things. On page 2, I always think it's interesting to look at the Facebook stats. It continues to be our most effective social media tool. This week I looked at some more demographics, and 78.3% of our 12,000 plus followers are female. So I thought that was really interesting. Maybe we could boost our male audience a little bit and grow those numbers even more. We have some room to grow from that. And then on page 3, I love to look at our top performing posts. And once again, for the 3rd month in a row, it is a snow day post that got top honors. So it's always interesting this time of year and into March now. And then there's also a feel-good story from Alameda, and I included a link there if you haven't had a chance. Your PDF will take you, if you click on those, to the links to those video stories. So that's just a really great way to keep you informed of some of our really top performing stories. On page 4, one of the things that I wanted to do was to really promote kindergarten registration, which starts this Friday online. So there's 2 parts to kindergarten registration. The first part opens online. They register online first, and then on March 28th, they'll go in and visit their neighborhood schools and do a kindergarten screener. We did a video, and we used our very own learners at Chubbuck Elementary School and our kindergarten teachers. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the video, I would really encourage you to look at it. It turned out really, really cute, and we have some really great kindergartners and kindergarten teachers in our district to showcase. So again, the links where it says watch the video story or read the article, those are at the bottom of that page for you. Our student representatives really captured the headlines of interest. There's so much wonderful activity and achievement and accomplishments happening in our district. So I have just selected a few of those that they mentioned here, and those go straight to those articles as well. And then in your appendix, there's all the media coverage that we've had in the last 30 days or so. So that concludes my report. Make it short and sweet for you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Kathy Luras with our curriculum, 5th grade social studies adoption.
Good evening, Madam Chair, trustees, Superintendent Howell, and Ms. Johnson. I want to draw your attention to the memo in your packet, the 5th grade social studies material adoption. As you know, the Social Studies Materials Adoption Committee reviewed and unanimously recommended for adoption Studies Weekly. This recommendation was made during the March 5th work session, and you can see there we've put the cost of the estimated cost. It'll be between 53 and 57. We haven't finalized, obviously, until it's approved, negotiating with the publisher. We noted there that while this was also the best curriculum, it was a really good value for our learners, and so if you don't have any questions, our recommendation is to adopt as presented.
Thank you. And we had Ray on that committee. Did you want to
Yeah. No,
share any thoughts?
Just that it's an excellent curriculum, and Amy and Kathy there, the whole team did a superb job. I actually enjoyed the curriculum so much. I went through every lesson in the curriculum. I was having a good time. I learned a lot. The company's great. These guys just did a superb job, and I'm not surprised that it was unanimously recommended, and it certainly has my highest recommendation as well. So thank you for a good job.
Thank you. And I do want to note that price includes the professional development that was presented to the committee. So we'll have on-site professional development as well as some virtual sessions to support our teachers.
Thank you.
No, it's an excellent company too, and a superb value. I mean, everything is great.
Yes, thank you. Everything I read was awesome, was just really good as well. So I would entertain a motion regarding the 5th grade social studies materials adoption proposal. Is there a motion?
I make the motion that we accept the 5th grade social studies recommendation proposal.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And
Aye.
any opposed? This motion is passed.
Thank you.
Kathy. Next, AJ will report on kindergarten update and Head Start.
Good evening, board members. Courtney already gave you a little introduction into our kindergarten registration that will be coming up starting on the 15th. It will be the online registration piece, and then March 28th will be the in-person registration, and it will continue on from there. But we have done our very best to try to get the word out. You'll see information on reader boards at the elementary schools and also signs up at the schools as well. We deliver flyers to all those businesses that may have young children and doctors' offices. We really try to get the word out and let everybody know that we offer a great kindergarten full-day program. And so we'll see. I'll keep you up to date on what those numbers are in regards to registration and what we're looking at for our incoming kindergarten group next month. Also, at the work session, the second item that I have, you were presented, Kathy, presented information from Head Start in regards to the upcoming grant application. She included a few additional items in there that she talked about but didn't have them in there in your addendum, and that's the non-federal share waiver and the bus monitor waiver that are required as part of that application process. The only change from what she talked about last week is the non-federal share waiver. She had initially talked about it being at 75%, and now she adjusted that to 70% for the non-federal share. So there was a typo in there on one of the numbers as well. I think there was an additional number. She wishes that's how much money she had, but I think that extra number made it a little inflated as to what that was. So that's corrected in your addendum as well, and that is up for action for your approval for the grant application tonight.
Thank you,
Concludes
AJ.
my report. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to approve the 2024-2025 Head Start grant application. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the submission of the 2024-2025 Head Start application.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion passed. Next, Sue will report on technology, early graduation, and 2 more things.
Okay, so for technology, just so you know, we've ordered I want to say 6,000 Chromebooks or more to start replacing our half of our Chromebooks that are out and about and are running out of their life. And so we're getting those ready to deploy next year. And then we are working on the IC report, which is our state reporting, and that is due on Friday. And there's a new report in theirs today, so we're going to be holding hands and doing that together. Those will be all ready to go by Friday, and we will have them submitted on time. So, early graduations, we have just a few, and these are students that actually finished at the end of second try, but didn't quite get their paperwork into us on time. And so, if you can approve their early graduation, they would be all excited about that. Do I need to wait and have them do, or can I finish my spiel and then do all of them at once?
Renee?
That's up to you. I was going to go through action as they talk about it.
Okay, then I'm stopping.
I would entertain a motion to approve the early graduation requests.
I hereby move that the board approve the early graduation request.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, I'm sorry, Heather.
Aye.
Sorry. Any opposed? This motion passed.
Okay, and then the next one would be our overnight out-of-state travel. And I wanted to thank you for pre-approving those three. And we're working on making sure that they get those in plenty of time so that we won't be doing that again. But you'll notice on your sheet you had 3 pre-approved trips and then 2 more that they're requesting for robotics and for FCCLA.
What's the CCLA?
Future, it's our home ec classes. Family and consumer science. Yeah, family consumer. There's another C in there. It's family and consumer science.
Okay. Just curious.
I would entertain a motion to approve the out-of-state overnight travel request. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the out-of-state and overnight travel request as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passed. New Horizons school calendar.
New Horizons, remember that they are on block schedule, so they do 2 blocks for everyone, 1 try in our high schools, and so their schedule is just a little bit different. And so this is their proposed schedule for next year. And so we're asking for approval.
I would entertain a motion to approve the 2024-2025 New Horizons school calendar. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the calendar for New Horizon.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? This motion passed. Next is
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank
Next is Tanya Wilkes on this future safety grant and district football equipment.
Right before that, we want to approve camp requests. So you can see there's quite a few camps coming up this summer. I've been trying to make sure that we don't have any late submissions anymore. So we're working on getting those in. Lots of things happening this summer. So folks that are watching tonight, look for our district website. Those will be promoted on the district website. Lots of basketball, soccer, volleyball, and football camps. So we'd like you to approve these functions that are going to happen this summer and this spring.
Thank you. And so we want to do that first. I would entertain a motion to approve the camp requests.
I make a motion that we approve the camp request from the various high schools as recommended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? This motion passed.
All right, next on the agenda is our Securing Our Future Safety Grant. We are working towards finishing phase 2, reaching out for support with our high school camera systems. We did pilot that at New Horizons last year, and it worked really well, so we're hoping to get some support in promoting the high schools.
I would entertain a motion to approve the submission of the Securing Our Future Safety Grant application. Is there a motion?
I make a motion. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the proposed Securing Our Future Safety Grant Phase 2 as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passed. And then the last thing.
And then the next one is the sponsorship agreement from Advantage. We are looking to hopefully coordinate with a sponsor agreement for 6 years for Advantage to purchase scoreboards at Irving Middle School and have their name on the scoreboards for those 6 years.
I would entertain a motion to approve the
Advantage Plus.
Advantage Plus application.
I hereby move that the board approve the Advantage Plus Federal Credit Union sponsorship agreement.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion passed.
All right, the last on my agenda is the IHSAA needs to have approval from the board for the football teams to use their pads and equipment, so they have to present those to you, the dates and times that they're going to use that according to the guidelines. So we'd like those dates and times this summer approved as presented.
I would entertain a motion to authorize the use of district football equipment for summer camps. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the use of the football equipment as presented.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passed.
Thank you.
Next topic is business operations, which will be presented by Jonathan Balls. And he will report on Highland High, emergency school closure, and bid awards.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for your time. Again, just for by way of information, we have some documents in your packet there. We heard yesterday, we still have no official word from insurance on a couple of our requests to help in bleachers, showers, a changing room, as well as an outdoor commons area or a large a music hall. We heard yesterday that he still hasn't heard back from iCramp, and so we're still kind of watching that.
Do they need more plans, either for the music hall or the commons?
I will.
They mentioned that they needed a plan.
They initially did. I will follow up with him and see kind of what if he would. I would assume he would. I don't know when he would need those to see. I think it'll probably determine on the temperature of what the message that he gets back on that if they'd like to proceed with those.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts on Highland? I think we've kind of kept. Oh, yes, I thank you. So we had an addendum, and this might come later this week. Again, the board had asked to kind of put some things in the pocket just in case as we are watching towards Boise to see House Bill 521 and that progress versus, again, we have to have the bond language submitted by we'd like to have it submitted by this Friday. And so we put into we got some information of some bond numbers for different terms, different years, with and without the bond levy equalization calculation in there as well. And so we just kind of wanted to see that. And I think we'll maybe talk about maybe meeting later in the week if things kind of are still stalled up in Boise regarding this House Bill 521.
And it appears that it's not on the calendar. We know it's going to the Senate floor, but do not know a date. So if we could, we would like to know what your availability is for Thursday or Friday. If we need to pursue the bond, and then whether, we can withdraw it at a later date before the April deadline.
Yeah, the April, really, it'd be that last Friday in March is when we would have to pull that with with the election official there with the county.
Yeah, I think because I think they said April before.
Yeah.
Correct. So I think April 1st, so in my mind, it was March 29th. So we'd basically have 2 more weeks just to see how things progress in Boise.
But we have a deadline to have to submit it.
That is correct.
So,
I'd rather
clear.
hit that deadline,
Mhm.
make sure that's, if the board decides that. And then I've already talked with the official, and we can definitely, pull that back prior to that April 1st.
So what we are deciding right now is if we move forward with bond language.
It's not on the agenda, so it's just this is more just for your information, just try to
Oh,
think
okay.
about it. But then the meeting that Dr. Howell's talking about Thursday, Friday, that's where an action item would be there.
We were trying to see how far we could push
Yes.
that back before, to know whether or not 521 was going to be approved, and even to get to the governor and for the signature. So at this point, I don't know that we'll have that even by Friday, when it has to make those 2 final steps before it becomes law. And so I would just suggest that we get together, talk about it. Jonathan was able to ask or request and receive this information just to give you an idea. Just as we did previously, we were looking at 10 and 15 years. I think in the other one, did we extend out once to 20 year even?
We had 20, but
Yeah.
that dropped off fairly
But you can
quick.
see the monthly obligation per $100,000 across the bottom. And you'll recall too, last week, some of our discussion surrounded the House Bill 574, which was in regard to public disclosure, and that unless it's guaranteed money, we cannot include that in bond language. And so that's why we presented this with the bond equalization. And so if it comes to a bond, we can present it with those numbers, assuming that 521 did not pass, therefore bond equalization would remain in effect. And so we could cover it that way, but we would not be able to present it with that language in the bond election or the bond vote.
So we would not be able to educate the public about bond equalization?
It's my understanding, and Mrs. Fisher, correct me if I'm wrong, we would be able to educate them, but it will not be included in the ballot language.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah.
Essentially, that 574, we have to tell the people the worst-case scenario. And if they approve the worst-case scenario, then that's great.
But-
And then if we do get that bond equalization, say that first year, then okay, that's great, that's savings and so forth, so.
I see. So,
Well,
so it's
I'm-
not based on
I'd be
current
available
conditions
either for
anymore?
Thursday or Friday. Thursday would be better, but I can make either day work.
I'm available Thursday, but not Friday.
I'll probably be available both days, but I'll have to check to be sure.
Heather, are you there?
Heather texted me and said that she can be available Thursday after 2 or Friday before noon.
Okay, so there will be 3 on Friday, Heather and Jim and Ray.
Thursday's fine.
Thursdays, yeah.
Again, with
Thursday I
those
will
2
be.
steps with the Senate floor and the governor, I don't think we're going to have those 2 completed before the board would need to take action on
Right.
a potential bond.
Okay, and Heather said after what time?
After 2.
So Thursday after 2.
And I'd be Thursday after 2:30, so. Okay.
And Thursday works for me, so.
Yeah, I think that'll probably work for me too.
Okay, should we plan for 3 o'clock,
Sure.
Thursday afternoon?
3:30?
3:30?
Whichever works for.
Okay.
That's our
anything.
typical time, let's just do
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, 3:30? Okay.
One on Wednesday, one on Thursday, one on Friday.
And we don't need any motions.
No.
No, that's just a scheduling.
We'll just move on to the rebuild.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Renee will publicize it. The next one is kind of, again, a continuation on, we will be rebuilding Back Highland and kind of our design committee. You saw this in the work section last week. And then, I don't know, there is some addendum information on how, kind of some surveys. Did that get?
In the packets, the addendum,
Uh-huh.
the memo with
Okay.
So the sign west.
Design West there as well. Kind of just kind of give some steps that we can go, forward with.
There's one thing Heather suggested, let's see, let me look. First of all, on the invitation to the media contact list,
Okay.
the community members, on the second paragraph, it said the purpose is to provide parent input. I think that's just a typo. I think it's supposed to say community input. Okay. Because the next one is the parent one, and it says parent input,
I think we switch it to patron.
Oh,
Right.
okay,
Instead of parent, so we'll double check that.
okay. The other one is on the parent application. It has, it says mark only one oval on number 3. My child currently attends Highland High School as. If they have 2 or 3, can we change that so that they can mark however many they have at Highland? If they've got an incoming freshman and a junior, or, for example,
So maybe mark all that apply kind of thing?
instead of mark only one.
Okay.
Is that okay?
All right.
All right. And then, did you have any comment on either one of those?
No, I agree with you about
Okay.
they should be able to mark as many as apply.
Okay. And then on the community rep application, the only difference is my current address is within the boundaries of Highland High School. We had discussed just very shortly about if we should have the community members be in the boundaries of Highland, or if there's two community members on that, or if we opened it up to the entire city. What are your thoughts?
I think that if somebody has specialized expertise or experience, they should be eligible if they reside anywhere within the school district.
Jim?
Well, I know, just like Heather and I, neither one of us live within the Highland area, but, we certainly have an interest in that, so
So you want to leave it?
I
The entire city?
I think it would be good if we had some people outside of Highland there.
There's just 2. So do we want to make it more people on that committee then? Because
No, we don't want to overload that committee, did you?
if there's, maybe make it 3 instead of 2. I think there are 3 parents, right? So maybe should we make it 3 community members as well?
I'm okay with 2.
I'm fine with more. I think, the more representation we get, the better, so I'm fine with whichever one. I would propose 3. What, do you want to just keep it at 2? Yes, Heather?
Deanna, I would concur. I know the committee is getting big, but I'm concerned that the community would think that it's too heavily weighted on the administration, school member, district administration side, and I think it would be good to have a balance of community. So if you've got 3 parents and 3 community members, I think that's good.
Okay. I would even say, to make it a little bit more balanced, we could do 4 of each. And it really doesn't change the number of the committee that much, but it would balance it more, maybe kind of more perspectives. But I'm fine with 3. Because what you just said, Heather, making sure that it's balanced, there are a lot more administration and, of course, teachers and, than parents and community, which I think will be the case because we need a lot of, the different teachers in the different areas. We need coaches, we need administrators, we need a lot of different people. So we can't have the same amount. But I would be fine with adding 1 to each of those if you wanted.
I think 3 and 3.
I would actually agree. I mean, I think we need to have as much of a balance as, the perception to the community is that we need to make sure they have an input.
So do you want 3 or 4 of each, Heather?
Probably just 3.
Okay,
I think 3 is a good compromise.
okay. So 3 of each. Is that okay?
Yep.
Two? Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to, well, wait a minute. I just want to make sure that we went through all of them.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, the timeline. You
The
did talk about
timeline.
timeline, yeah.
The timeline.
Yep.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the timeline? This is an idea.
It's just the start.
This is just an idea, and so this is just kind of like, just an idea. So what other thoughts do you have on the committee? I'll just go through it really quickly for those who are listening. The first step would be gathering information, tour the other 3 6A facilities in our area. The second one would be a committee debriefing meeting. So that would be discussing what we found out in our research. And then kind of like everybody there would share their thoughts on the needs and priorities of what should be included in this rebuild. And then the third step would be the board members meet with the CM team, which is the construction management and design team, and district administration, share those thoughts and concerns with them prior to them coming up with a preliminary design. The next step is, you can stop me at any time if you want to change anything, or the fourth step would be the CM team would draw up preliminary designs to be sent to the board and admin to review and discuss. And if it's approved by the board, then it would go to that committee to then have their input, on this design. And then you can just repeat it. It would just go back through as many times as we need it to, because the design alluded to the fact that it's kind of a back and forth process for a while. And so then we would go back to the board members meeting with the construction manager, go back to the committee, and go back to the design team as we need. However many times we need to go back and forth, as they alluded to. But I would like everybody to be able to share their thoughts. And it's, even if we approve this, it's not set in stone. We can change it at any time if we feel.
I think it works.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Would you like to change or add or anything?
We might down the road.
Yeah.
This
I
looks
agree.
good for now.
I agree. We're just brand new at this.
I guess it depends on how things work together and.
And what about?
I'm going to just let Jonathan talk a little bit about the other item that you have in there in regard to Design West. Walk you through a little bit of these different pre-design, schematic design, that sort of thing. So I know he and our Bateman Hall group visited last Friday afternoon and had just a little bit of discussion about this outline. So Jonathan, please.
So again, this document comes from Design West, kind of their step, and I think you'll notice a lot of similarities, a lot of back and forth, but it helps set their 4 stages of the kind of the industry standard. Because I build a gym, I build a music room. With different architect, and it's almost exact same because they use the same process. They've found that this design process, gets the best results from the patrons to the board to the administration, teachers, staff, to the parents and the public. It helps design the best efficient buildings, which I think you'll see is a lot that you've incorporated as their pre-design, the schematic design, the design development. And then, of course, the last one is the contract documents. He shares kind of some timelines, and that's where we get this 6 to 8 months. Kind of goes through there. My only comment on the committee, again, we love input. Of course, my job is I love as much input as you can, but just don't go over the budget, right? So that's gonna be my mantra there. But again, there's a lot of meetings, and so if there's a lot of people on the committee, it's going to be, okay, this meeting's going to be this date, and if you can't make it, then they'll do your best, the best you can, or make the ones you can. Obviously, these are all public, that'll all be there. But especially as you see, again, weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, again, involving the plans and say step 3 in design. What this also incorporates is, again, all the other professionals that Design West will work with. Again, the lighting, mechanical engineer, structural engineer, electrical engineer, you can almost add engineer to every one of these systems, technology engineer as well, to help make sure that what we want is structurally sound, and we'll work with the systems there. So I really liked your document, Madam Chair, especially on the front end, to get ourselves up to speed, our committee, by reviewing other schools, our own schools in our own community, if that's needed, as well as regional other schools as well, to see what's out there. Some of us have been in other schools and some of us haven't. So.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, so
please,
Mr. Balls, on this outline, each design element is taking about 2 months, puts us out 8 months from, say, April. Now we're December, we can't dig, we can't move dirt, we can't do much. I mean, it seems like a lot of engineering going on, that's for sure. But if there is any way to expedite this,
Absolutely.
I think the board would be
Absolutely.
highly in favor of that,
Yep.
as well as the admin team.
Yeah.
And so if we can work closely with Bateman Hall, and anytime there's an opportunity to push
Correct.
forward, let's do it.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I don't want to get to October and then we have to debate weather and that sort of thing, but if we could be ready by September, if Mr. Craven and his team at Design West and Bateman Hall says, yeah, let's do it, I would love to see us getting in the dirt.
Yes, and we're definitely on the same page. It's that balance of, okay, giving them the time they need to develop and design something that will last decades down the road versus, we need to get this going as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Even our plant facility coordinator, Brian Glenn, even mentioned some of the electrical challenges even in the demo, because there's major electrical that's feeding the rest of the building. Both underground in the cement slab of our old gym, as well as in the D wing, the upper B feeds through that part that potentially might be demoed. So there we'll definitely need some electrical engineer to kind of help us do that. But yes, everybody's on board. When I talked to them on Friday, they are anxious. They've watched this process, and
I'm in favor of expediting.
yeah,
Is
correct.
everybody
correct.
else? Do I even need to ask that?
It'll be both sides of the coin,
What-
of how quickly they could do it, and giving us time to give them feedback as well would be
Yes,
critical.
because I would assume that this timeline would be pre-design phase. What do we need, and that kind of thing. That's all pre-design.
Yep,
And I
step
would
one.
think, I would assume that this would go very quickly.
Possibly.
I mean,
sure.
hopefully it could be like, as much as possible, just very quickly.
Yep. The end result of this pre-design, and it actually references it in this step 2, is they call it a programming document. That's basically gathering. In step 1, they're gathering all this input from the committee, the board, everyone, and they're basically getting their to-do list. Okay, this is the type of facility that we want. Here's the attributes and so forth. And then they'll dive into this, different schematic design, looking at all these different, evaluating all these systems. So yes, that could, and that's why they put 1 to 2 months, because it could go fast, and we will help determine the speed of that.
Yes. Oh, I think we should, it should be very, very quick. Like, these meetings should be, I don't know, I'm just assuming, would be a lot right up at front.
Sure.
But then when you're talking about meeting with the engineers, and that's not the thing. I wouldn't
No.
think that would go through that process, the timeline process at all. That's more a different stage.
We would just need, correct. That's it more on the schematic design and then the design development. That's where Design West architects will get with their engineers to make sure that it's structurally sound, that the tie-ins to the existing building are structurally sound. For example.
I wouldn't think we need the committee to be involved in that at all.
No, not necessarily.
Possibly the board members, if they wanted to attend meetings here and there.
They will definitely see the
that.
end result of that step. But yeah, the face-to-face meetings wouldn't be too far with that.
No, I would think that the part that this committee would be highly involved with is what rooms are we talking about?
Sure.
And the sizes.
Yep.
And then those are just all pre-designed. And then also I would think what the exterior looks like, and then
Possibly.
give them that information, so then they could move on to the next steps.
Absolutely. You're right. There, it'll kind of, just as you mentioned in that timeline that you presented, yeah, there will be kind of an ebb and flow. We'll meet several times, in the month, and then we might take a month off as the architects and engineers do their work. They'll come back and show us their design, and then we'll, the board will, we'll tweak it. The committee can say, oh, I want this a little bit different or that, and give them feedback and go from there.
Yeah, and if we're really careful to tell them goals and all
Absolutely.
that, I think that we can hopefully get this really quickly. And they've already done schools, and we can show them, the schools that we're interested in
Correct.
as a committee, so.
And again, so I'm still staying with those 6 to 8 months if we can trim off as much as we can. But yeah, they're used to, the time to be able to do their work as well. So it'll be a back and forth and an open communication there.
So I've got a question about the committee meetings. Are they open meetings, either Jonathan or okay?
Yes.
And so then there's a quorum necessary for them? Or?
Not a quorum, but they are open. They are open meetings, but we wouldn't be doing the quorum. So it wouldn't be the whole board there. It would just be
No, I'm talking
open.
about we've got community members and we've got administrators, et cetera. I mean, is there a quorum for that?
No.
No.
For this
No.
committee, it would be the administration, 2 board members that we had talked about.
Yeah.
So that there's not a quorum of board members, and then the parent and community representatives. So it kind of balances that out. But the board members would be the Zone 5 trustee and then 1 other volunteer. So I know Heather was interested and possibly Jim interested. And they had talked about maybe alternating or just selecting one and having somebody be a backup.
Or I'll just let
Jim,
Heather-
do you want to
Yeah.
share?
I'm just going to let Heather be on that committee.
Okay, would you like to be backup and then?
I could be, if she's not
Yeah.
going to be there, I could fill in.
So Heather would be the second member, and then Jim would be the backup whenever Heather is not able to be there.
Yep.
And then Jim, you would wanted to be on the PV Tech
Right.
along with Ray.
Yeah.
So you will be on that one.
No, my question wasn't about board members. It was just that, given the number of community members, et cetera, whether if people couldn't make it, whether that was going to delay the process of the committee. No.
There's no requirement.
Oh, okay. That's the only question I
I see what
had.
you're saying with the quorum. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a decision-making committee. It's
Okay, good. Yeah.
And they can submit their comments
Yeah.
written, just like all the members of the community. All the members of the community can submit written comments at any point. It's an open meeting. So there will be opportunities for written comment along the entire way. For everybody who, like you're saying, doesn't live in the Highland area or anybody else. It's always open. Everybody
Okay,
is
good.
always able to submit their comment.
And it'll be an interesting, I've done a miniature version of that. It'll be interesting because again, depends if you're athletics or arts, and so it'll really be coming together to do what's best for everybody. For obviously our Highland and family up there.
This is kind of a different situation than just building a high school, because you're not building a high school. You're building something where the people are there.
That's true. That's true.
And it's a lot more personal.
Yep, that's correct. So it'll be a good process, and it'll take it through there, and we'll have some good communications.
So can we approve this with the change of adding 1 community member? Can that- is that-
So
yeah.
I would entertain a motion to approve the Highland High School Rebuild and Design Committee, the core committee members, the member selection protocol, and the timeline, with the exception that we are going to add 1 more community member. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the Highland High School Rebuild and Design Committee as has been stated, with the addition of 1 community member representative.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Drop off.
Yeah, Heather is disconnected.
Oh, okay. She had a rehearsal, so she needed to go. Any opposed? Oh, did I say I am in favor? And then any opposed? The motion passed. Do we move on to the emergency?
Yes.
Are you ready for that?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Again, hopefully this is the last time for this school year. Yeah, don't say that. I might have just jinxed us. March 4th, we did close school for adverse weather. We need the board to basically ratify this decision, and we have to send the board minutes to the state. We've sent the certification of emergency closure already, but we need this recorded in the minutes. So if you would approve that emergency closure, ratify the emergency closure.
I would entertain a motion to adopt the emergency school closure resolution. Is there a motion?
I propose that we adopt the resolution declaring Monday, March 4th, 2024 as an emergency day of closure for all schools, as recommended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Now we're on to bid awards.
Okay. For you, this is, again, we're right in the middle of our bidding season. There'll be even more in April. We have 3 bids for you to review and to approve. The first is our carpet and Cove Base at several different locations, Pocatello Century, New Horizons, Franklin, Washington Elementary. You can see the dollar amounts there, 5 different projects. We invited 8 vendors to bid. We've received 2. One was non-responsive. That means they did not meet all of the qualifications for the bid. And so the lowest responsible bidder is wall-to-wall flooring here in Pocatello. Again, that total amount, $82,396, is approximately $30,623 below the estimated amount. And I wanted to comment on the below part because you'll see one that's coming up that's higher, so it'll all kind of balance out. But before we get to that one, the second one in alphabetical order here is the food service delivery trucks. Again, we needed some to update these are the box trucks that we use to transport food to the different schools from our central kitchen here. And then also we use all of our trucks for the summer feed program, the summer lunch program at several different locations in our community. And so we asked for 4 new food service delivery trucks. 7 vendors were invited to bid. We received vendors 3 back. 1, again, was unresponsive. They did not qualify. And so you can see the lowest bid there is from Conpalos in Jerome, Idaho. About $86,000 per truck, or $344,532. Now, unlike the other 2 bids that came out of our capital improvement plan, this will be funded 100% by food service funds. And so that is within their budget that they have. This one will also be approved by the state as well.
So state funds?
No, it is still our food service funds, but the state still has to have a capital expenditure approval over $5,000. We have to get approval from the state, but we have pre-approval, and with your permission, then we'll submit this number, and we anticipate it will get approved from the state food service department there. The last one is on the VCT tile. So tile and Cove Base at, again, various different locations. 9 vendors were invited to bid. We received bid from 1 vendor, and again, wall-to-wall flooring. And total amount, you see the different projects there from our Alameda, Washington, Pocatello, and Syringa schools in the bid amount of $86,784. What happened, and this was, the total bid amount is approximately $48,472 over what we had anticipated, and that's it was due to Alameda. When we went in there to between our budget period and the time we did the bid specs, we realized that there was a little bit more tile that needed to be removed, and so we kind of thought, well, this is why we cushion ourselves a little bit in the budget, and again, offsetting it with that first one with carpet. of 30,000. And so we felt that we could still be able to afford this and do the needed repairs to these tile at these various locations. And so, again, for your action tonight is toward wall-to-wall carpet for the VCT tile of $86,784.
I would entertain a motion to award the following bids as presented: carpet, food service delivery trucks, and VCT tile. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board award the bids as presented.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Thank you, Jonathan. Next is Human Resources, which will be presented by Brenda Miner.
Good evening, board members. Just for clarification on Jonathan, we had an April snow day last year, if I remember correctly. So tonight I just wanted to visit with you a little bit about, not very easy to stand up here, to preliminary on where we stand with staffing on our certified and professional staff. So when I say preliminary, like I say, this is March, but usually by March we have quite a few letters of either resignation or retirement and those types of things. So I wanted to kind of give you some updated numbers. And one of the things that I think is I like to look at this on the positive side of, we have very few this year who are choosing to leave School District 25 and so far. And I just really attribute that to all the wonderful things that are happening here, from starting, with the board and going to our professional development. And if you remember, we had the article in the Idaho Ed News that regarded us as one of the highest in as far as teacher retention. So, for example, this year we have 5 in the elementary. And just to kind of give you a perspective, last year by the time we were done, so I don't have a, exact March to March comparison, but it was a whole lot more. We had 24 elementary ones last year by the time we were ready, and so this year we have 5. Also, in the middle school, we have 5 openings. Last year we had 14 by the time we were ready to hire for fall, and this year in our high schools, we have 8 openings, and we were a total of 16 last year. So the biggest one, as you can see, is the elementary. That's quite a difference from only having 5 openings currently. We have 1 administrative opening, and we also have a couple in our ancillary, meaning a school nurse, a school psychologist, and an SLP. Okay, so again, we're watching and looking at all those numbers, and these are just very preliminary as we wait for state numbers and state funding and all of those things, and I will continue to keep you guys updated as they open up and as we look at where we stand. Just another note on that I'd like to just mention is, one of the areas we're really looking at is from those positions, when you think of 8 in the high schools, we have 5 of those are special education positions. And so we're hoping to get 1 or 2 of our candidates from the PAC program that are close enough to being able to apply, and we have some out-of-state people that are coming in for our special education openings as well. Questions? Okay, great,
No,
thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report, presented by Doug Howell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first up for me is the board calendar, and this morning it looks like community prevention. I think Mr. Knopf attended with Ms. Wilkes and got a little bit of background on all of that.
Yes.
Excellent. And so tonight's board meeting, of course. Tomorrow night we have student discipline hearings, just one actually, and so we'll start at 3:30. Might take us just after the hour of 4 o'clock, and so we'll need 4 of you to start. We could definitely get someone by phone if necessary.
I am unable to be there tomorrow. My daughter is sick, so I'm going to go help her.
Okay.
I'll be there.
I'll be here, God willing.
And then maybe we can reach out to Heather and see if,
Okay.
and
Yep.
Angie.
We will see if we can get the other 2.
And I can join by phone.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll see what we can put together and let you know.
Okay.
All right. Then we have spring break coming up all next week, of course, and key communicators the following week on Tuesday, March 26th. If you're interested, please RSVP Ms. Johnson. We'll grab the first 2. April 3rd on the following Wednesday will be a placeholder for student discipline, and if we need those hearings, we will let you know. Tentatively, Renee scheduled 3:30 to 4:30, but again, that varies by the number of hearings that we have. So just mark that again as a placeholder. On the 9th of April, we are back to board work session, and then also you'll see that morning community prevention. And if you're interested, let Ms. Johnson know. On Friday, April 12th, we have our school board visits. You can see your, let's see, the various schools and your assignments. I don't know that they didn't pull through, but you can get those from Ms. Johnson or myself, either one of us. And then the 16th regular board meeting, student discipline hearings, again, a placeholder on April 17th. And then the Law Institute on April 22nd and 23rd. I don't know, have we had some interest from our board members?
Yes, I have Deanna and Ray attending.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, and that takes us a month out. Key communicators also on the 23rd, and then May 1st with student discipline hearings. The next item for me is legislative update, and I spoke quite a bit about this last week. Just a couple that I want to follow up with you in regard to 521. We mentioned earlier that we've not seen any action on that yet. Still waiting on the Senate floor to take action, and then once they do, on to the governor. In regard to 447, this is school choice voucher tax credit legislation. This was actually heard in committee this morning, and it did not move to the House floor by a very slim margin of 1 vote. So it was 8 in favor of sending it to the floor and 9 in favor of not sending it. So it was held in committee. So we will not see that one as it is in the present form. In a communication with Representative Cheatham today, he mentioned that there was some discussion after that hearing, and so I don't know what that means for the next couple weeks. Yeah. So we'll watch that one closely. House Bill 415, which is commonly referred to as the gun bill, that one has been updated, and you know that our very own Senator Guthrie is in charge of that committee. We spoke to him at length when we were up at the Day on the Hill last month. So Senate Bill 1418 has been presented. Quite a few changes in that, and I would say it gives more of that flexibility back to school boards. There is some added training, some annual training in regard to school safety plans, and then also that they have to complete a series of shooting rounds. And so it was 98.
Did they keep that provision that it is still up to local boards?
Yes, yes. So that one's, did you, any thoughts? Nope, good, okay, Mrs. Fisher and we tag team these throughout the week, and so when I can catch one and vice versa, and so I think we're keeping a pretty good handle on all of this. House Bill 001 from the special session of 2022, which set aside $161 million for public schools, is moving along. We expect to hear the education budgets being set by JFAC on March 14th. So we will be watching to see how that comes back to us, which we're crossing our fingers that it does, whether it's in some discretionary dollars, whether it's in protection, whether it's in this year's budget or next year's budget or a combination of two. So I think we'll have more answers on Thursday. That was originally. Go ahead.
Is that tied to 521? Are they with the budget? Is that tied to 521? Like if the budget?
It is not currently, and don't give them any ideas.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm
sure nobody watches these.
Oh, goodness. No, I'm sure every thought about that has been brought forward somehow, some way. But yeah, anytime you think there's a little bit of money, which direction will it go? And so we'll hope that it just comes back to us in a student allocation that we can put in our general fund and transition into next year, because as Mr. Balls presented last year, Our unit funding is down a little bit, and so we would love to have a little bit extra to make up the difference. And let's see, I think that's about it for the update on the legislative side of things. Finally, for me, policy 2203, which is on board committees, and this is presented to you tonight for first reading. We talked a little bit about it last week, and you've had another week to look it over and think about it. And so I'll just leave that to the board's pleasure tonight for discussion and action for first reading.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to hear on first reading, policy 2203, board committees. Is there a motion?
Okay, is this a new policy?
Yes.
This is the one we talked about last week at the, this is the board committee. It was the model policy from the ISBA that we talked about last week at,
I would say the only difference.
do you see it on
That
there?
I have included for first reading in the ISBA policy is that we kept our January volunteer process for.
Oh, yeah, we kept it, instead of changing it to the board chair would assign, we kept our process that we already have, that people volunteer.
Okay. Well, I hereby move that the board hear on first reading policy 2203.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I didn't know if there was any other worries or concerns about it, or thoughts?
No, I need to read more up on it. I guess I don't remember seeing this in my
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so-
We'll have another reading, and
Right.
so if you want to change anything, we can do that as well. On,
Yeah, first.
all in
second.
favor for a first reading?
Aye.
This is second.
Aye. What was that?
Did anyone second the motion?
Yeah, Jim.
Jim
Oh,
did.
okay, good, great.
Jim did. Any opposed?
Aye. I agree.
Agree, okay. 3 in favor.
Okay.
The motion passed. That concludes this meeting. I would entertain a motion